Hello everyone. Buenas noches. ¿Cómo están? Feliz viernes. Happy Friday. Yeah. How you feeling tonight? Pretty good? All right. Big shout out to DJ Edie out there in the Poets Garden who is starting the show. Welcome. Greetings from the punky ghost of Venice West. Welcome to the Wanda Coleman Theater. I want to start by acknowledging our presence on unceded territory. We stand in solidarity with Indigenous, Tongva, Tataviam, Chumash peoples who have endured colonialism and displacement. We stand against genocide and are committed to provide a space for Indigenous artists and communities as they are the original stewards of this land. Beyond Baroque is a place dedicated to the possibilities of language, founded in 1968 by George Drury Smith, began as an experimental literary magazine, and evolved into the interdisciplinary space it is today. This building first served as the original Venice City Hall, but since the late 70s, it has been a space for artists and writers. You can learn more about LA's oldest literary organization, which is now 57 years old. We continue to offer our free Monday night fiction workshop and our Wednesday night poetry workshop. The fiction workshop is currently facilitated by Raquel Baker, and our Wednesday night workshop is facilitated by poet Jose Hernandez Diaz. And we will soon be having another facilitator for that workshop on Wednesday nights. These happen virtually on Zoom every Wednesday, and we'll continue that for as long as we can. But with that, we have more of an international outreach for poets to develop their pieces with a group of participants. For some of us, this is also a time to remember our loved ones. Let's give a shout out to the Vega family for the beautiful ofrenda that they brought us with us today. The portal to the ancestors is open around this time, and there's many celebrations to honor our loved ones and to spend some time with them. So, with that, we also have our gallery exhibition focused on the late poet Charles Bukowski, and we will be having a set of programs for the exhibition. We had the photographer Joan Ganny that joined us in conversation with Mike Sonskin, and we will be having a few more poetry readings, panel conversation focused on the work of Bukowski, but also in conversation with other LA poets. So stick around for that. We'll be announcing details this month coming up. So I have a few more announcements to make about what we have coming up. On November 20th, we're also welcoming 3 poets published by Omnidom Press, including Jennifer Hasegawa, Martha Ronk, and Molly Bendel, and who's with us in the audience tonight. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah. And we'll be at the LA Central Library as part of the Independent Voices Festival happening November 22nd. And we'll be launching a set of new poets published by What Books Press and Giant Claw. So stick around for all of that. To keep up with our upcoming events, I encourage you to sign up to our newsletter. You can do so on your way out or online on our website at beyondbaroque.org. And we've been here for 57 years, but we plan to be here for a whole other century and beyond that. So it's thanks to your support. And there's many ways that you can do that. One is if you'd like to continue supporting us, continue supporting the writers and artists that we invite to the space, you can become a member. Memberships start at $75. There's discounts for students, and it gives you free access to events, perks to our bookstores, discounts, whether it's books, merch. So there's a lot of that you can get through a membership. And yeah, you're supporting the lifeline of this space directly, especially after a lot of our funding has been cut this year, unfortunately. But a few more ways you can support is by attending our upcoming fundraisers. On November 9th, we are hosting a dinner at a special place. It will be outdoors, and we'll be having a few special dishes, um, also serving wines. And this will be a night to, celebrate in an intimate setting with a lot of the Beyond Baroque core community. Poets Jessica Bogatas and Sofia El Hilo will be sharing space with us, reading a few poems, and fiction author J. Ryan Straddle will also be joining us reading from his latest novels. On November 15th, we are hosting No Fest Poetry Marathon here at Beyond Baroque. We're going to have a full 9 hours of poets reading here in the Wanda Coleman Theater. And we're also going to activate by having a book fair in the garden. That section will be free, an open mic as well. So it's a great opportunity to just come and support the space. We'll be having various books and books that are for sale just for that day. So hope to see you there. All the tickets are live on our website. So you're welcome to make a donation as well, or buy a virtual ticket. If you can't make it, we'll be live streaming all of these events on YouTube, as we usually do. And yeah, there's many ways that you can come and or show up for Beyond Broke. And before I tell you the last way you can support, I'd like to thank the team. That's Eric Alberg, technical director in the booth, our executive director Jimmy, Annika, Zoe, Barbara, Rhiannon. Thank you all for all the beautiful work. Yeah. Lastly, the last way you can support is by purchasing our feature authors' books. We have their collections in the bookstore right across the hall, and I'm sure that Jimmy, Prageeta, Sesshu, Jose, is Jose in the room? No? Jose, we love you. But yeah, that, and I mean, his books are in the bookstore, so yeah, get 3 or 4 of his collections that are on our shelves. And I'm sure they'll be happy to sign them. And, we'll carry on we'll start with the readings. But yeah, Jimmy, will be more than happy to sign your copy. He's been doing that for the last 2 hours and the last month. But, it's an honor to introduce our poet celebrating his debut collection. And someone took my book. Oh, no, never mind. It's right here hiding. But look at this badass front cover and this book cover. Yeah. By the great Gronk and by the great press of What Books Press, fresh off the press. And, it's been an honor to celebrate with him, but also to work alongside Jimmy and to be hearing a lot of the poems that are in this book throughout the years. He's put a lot of work into it, and I'm really excited to kind of see all this at play. So this is really cool. And yeah, I mean, just kind of from hearing all the poems, I think it evokes the atomic children of Tezcatlipoca. So, the corroded Cempasúchil freeways. I even got inspired to do the Molcajete eyes. So, yeah, you'll know what I'm talking about if you read the book. Just so you know a little bit more about our star poet of the evening and host, Jimmy Vega is a child of Mexican immigrants, a Chicano, LA poet, educator, and interdisciplinary artist. Vega is the author of Zirconium Ash. He holds a BA from UCLA in English and an MFA in creative writing from CalArts. Vega's poems appeared or are forthcoming in Diode, Dunes Codex, Maintenant, and elsewhere. Vega is currently the interim executive director of this beautiful space, Beyond Baroque, He lives and works in LA. Let's give a round of applause to our host, star poet, Jimmy Vega.
Hey everyone, thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. It means a lot to have you all here on Halloween to celebrate out in the back and to read a little bit of poetry. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna start off just reading a couple poems here, and then I'm gonna introduce the first poet to read with us. That was Jose Hernandez Diaz, but unfortunately he's having a little bit of a medical issue tonight and can't join us. But we're definitely thinking of him, and we have him here in spirit. So yeah, I'll read a couple poems, and then I'll invite Sesshu to read after. I wanted to start off with one of the earliest poems in this collection before it was ever a collection. And this one's for Damien, for Maggie, for Gladys, for Irene. Persimmons. Sticky fingers prickling persimmons, marigold like crinkled crackling leaves on pavement, or blood on terracotta. In my grandmother's cornea, one with golden hair, now graphite, she smiles at me from afar, from across lawns on Abbott Road. And I think of my cousin Jorge, who was secuestrado by men with masks or crooked teeth in Michoacan, streets, summer, and stone. Did he cry when he was hungry? Did they bust his lip with semi-automatics, and did he pray for my Madrina Lupe's arms around him? 4:16 a.m., cold like gray or wet clay in the arroyo, while sticky fingers clenched for God or blood. Pupils christen in blindfold, crawling over gravel and glass, like kissing ground in service of forgiveness or darkness. A woman walks on Beethoven Street, cradling cempasúchil flowers, and frowns at me as I taste iron and ash from burning Los Angeles. Sunlight hitting glass, color of persimmons, and I wonder if Jorge tasted tierra or if he just quivered his sticky fingers reaching for another cigarette. 6:14 a.m., cold like silent streets or pavement in the city he calls Patria. This one's for my grandmother, my Mama Licha. She's in one of these photos here on this altar. It's my dad's mom, so I'm wishing that she was here. It's titled, "I Am No Longer a List of Attachments." I am no longer a list of attachments, a sensory amalgamation as combustion neurosis. I am my mother's quiet prayer, transient, flicker, brief as causality, hazy amber videotape hue, unexcavated memory. I am the formal cause of an unfound poem, weightless and yearning in Rambodian solitude. Now that I am in love and no longer a poet, instead hummingbirds singing my grandmother's secrets, one whose ashes are kept in non-cobwebbed ancient church archival box revolution. I keep thinking about who you'd be if I never left, how the desert can't hold you, or how all flowers beg for rain. I keep reading in the dark to hide my lizard brain by licking my own wounds. If pain is everything, my tongue becomes my sacrificial ofrenda, yearning to meet you within golden hum. There is a street light lost inside all of us. How else could we radiate past midnight? If you've ever been followed inside fluorescent aisles of a convenience store, raise your hand and repeat after me. When my grandmother died, I lost a lot of everything, but not just anything. One who'd pray for me rushing towards slate streets. I hear her voice in the action of photosynthesis, in the liminality of sleep lids chasing moon cycles, elegiac and cylindrical and round in a way that carries. How else did I ever fall asleep without you holding my hand? And now that I am in love and no longer a poet, the ending is refrain. So we've got a little ofrenda here. Thanks, Mom, and everyone else who helped build it. I instructed some of the readers to bring a gift if they wanted to. So if you didn't, that's okay. But at any point when you come and read, and if you did bring something, feel free to add to it. Pardon all of this mess. We'll get into that later. And here, I wanted to make sure that I brought some books that I was keeping really close to the chest as I was writing this. So that's what this stack is here for. But I had to bring a truncated kind of selection. So there's many more books at home that helped me get through this project. But Sesshu Foster's book is in here, City of the Future. And I applied once to for a teaching fellowship at Cal Arts, and my plan was to teach your book, Sesshu, and it never got accepted. I didn't get the chance or the opportunity, but just wanted to let you know that your work means a lot to me. So everyone, please make some noise for the LA poet Sesshu Foster.
Thank you, Jimmy. It's a pleasure to be up here with these other poets on the list. I haven't heard some of them read, so I'm looking forward to that. And some of my favorite poets in the city are here. Some of my favorite poets in the country. Yeah, I think. I'm going to start off with this little note, and it was just a dream. And I actually don't know Amy Gersler, but I had a dream about her. In the dream, the radio is on, and the poet Amy Gersler is talking about a little-known event in the life of Jack Kerouac when she coaxed or lured him back to the United States from Mexico when he was burned out and drug-addled, using the powers of the four consonants, R-S-T-L, in the center of her last name. Yes. Secret powers of consonants. Yeah. So, what's the meaning of that dream? The meaning of that dream is like, it tells me about my thought processes, really. All right. So I'm going to read an LA postcard. In the infinite city, it's so late, it's early. In the infinite city, somebody's going down. In the infinite city, like waves on the shore, vehicles on the freeway, the phone is ringing. In the infinite city, a legion of men and women stalk, service, and warm up. Thousands of taco trucks in the truck yards, in the steam, in fluorescent lights cutting the dark on the other side of the chain link fence. In the infinite city, farmers fan out in trucks from Tehachapi, Oxnard, Lompoc, and Santa Maria. Fillmore, setting up their tarps and uncrating produce in the gloom of the empty parking lots. In the flower market, forklifts deliver the boxes and flats. The workers push the carts and hand trucks. People stumble to the showers. They're lifting microwave Deo coffee and fresh coffee to their lips. They're flicking, they're flicking on the lights of kitchens in their homes, restaurants, and coffee shops. I just pulled 3 12 to 14-hour days in a row. At 2 a.m., I am washing a pile of dishes the size of Mount Wilson. They could broadcast TV reruns from on top of it. Hawaii Five-0 starring Mick Jagger. They could show the old Ronald Reagan version of The Killers. He was a killer on those dirt roads. 3 a.m., I'm washing a pile of dishes as big as my house. With the density of the Hoover Dam, this pile of dishes built the West. And the cities draw water from it through a great system of silent green water canals. At 4 a.m., I'm washing a pile of dishes the size of a semi-truck. At 5 a.m., I'm washing a pile of dishes with a rat in it. In the infinite city, the discarded bit of tomato green looks like a crushed spider on the counter. In the infinite city, dishes are piling up and steam wafts from my hands. At 6 a.m., Hannah calls and leaves a message. And then the rat starts gnawing loudly on the wood under the stove. My father died today. All right. One of the beautiful parts of Jimmy's zirconium ash is freeways, so this is a piece out of a collaborative experimental essay that I did for a magazine called Tripwire out of the Bay Area, and my collaborator, Arturo Romo, he was thinking about land, about the privatization of public space. And so, his pieces were very rooted. But I have been traveling a lot lately, too much in a way. I have a daughter in Alaska, I have a daughter in Brooklyn, and I have a daughter in Canada. And so going around and around. So this is about actually coming back to LA and being here as much as possible. And it's called Used Itinerary. You can get there on a bike from the rental place on Ventura Boulevard, or you can ride a funicular in Naples, Italy, or thrown from a moving car along the Rio Grande. If you know, you know. I went to Fresno once, but it was on the outskirts of New York City before it sloughed off, sinking off the Jersey coast. When we were in Tangiers, the Englishman who ran the hotel stole our passports. So it was a dark night on the ferry deck crossing the Strait of Gibraltar. That afternoon, I drove to San Bernardino. North Africa peeked over the shadow of the hills. Winds of the Sahara blew over the mountains. I flew to San Salvador with a woman attached to one arm, clenching her jaw at every creaky bump or plummet The plane shuddered at night. Her fingernails left Vietnam imprinted on my forearm. I stood on Olympic Boulevard in the smog, sweaty palm trees bent overhead by hurricanes of Texas, by spit and urine of Florida, dirt in my eyes. So I totally understand the goofy fogs of Monterey and Cowtown as I descended the Greyhound bus in Homer, Nebraska, and slept all the way through my sadness in Yuma. Walking along some river in Cambridge, Massachusetts, I fixed my head in the direction of Whittier Boulevard or any beach in Baja California. Just because we rode a train into Paris, just because we rode a train from Guadalajara, people stepped on or walked over me lying on the floor of the second-class car, sicker than a dog. Under the weather in Hurricane Alley, snowy train windows stared like blurry eyes back at me through Salt Lake City, and it looked like Gulf of Mexico to me. The blonde woman yanked Coco the gorilla on a leash at Stanford University, trying to pull her out of the flower beds as larches turned yellow in the official autumn of Hollywood. Applied for a university job masturbating rats in the bio department, but was rejected for lack of experience. Applied for a job at Raytheon Death Ray Industries, washing dishes in their cafeteria, rejected because of long hair. That's the breaks. Walking home, I breathed in the blue luminescence before dawn. Autumn had a breeze, cool and efficient as fish teeth when I was inside a motel, Masaya, once inside the canyons of the Chocolate Mountains. 1920s old rundown hotel in Oaxaca City. I might as well have treated you better if you were going to die like that in some former shipyard city on the third floor walk up in Vallejo, like you were found unresponsive on the floor. Suppose I could meet you then in Dead Horse Point State Park, where the green meets the Colorado by the Snake or the Rogue, or on the roadside in dusty industrial flats. Suppose we could go there, like Highway 1 at the Bisbee Canyon Bridge, like dirt under the fingernails of kids playing in the dirt of Truckee, Nevada, maybe or maybe not. Minneapolis used to meet St. Paul like noon meets midnight, by way of newspapers of Madrid blowing down Houston Street, by way of bets placed with a poker face against sheep herders in Browns Park. Like I was telling you that day in the oldest Japanese restaurant on East First Street, in the largest 10 concentration camps at Post in Arizona, Managua in the old days, when I said it like I meant it, don't forget. You know the feeling when a bone breaks, when you've done it a few times. In K-Town, you'll know it once or twice. In Little Tokyo, you know, in the 626. All right. I'm looking forward to the readers that are coming up. Thank you very much for coming out tonight.
One more time, folks. Let's give it up for Sesshu Foster. Thanks, Sesshu. So it's Halloween, and there's definitely some tricks and some treats. And so we have a special guest reader this evening with us, and that's the poet in residence of Beyond Baroque. Let's make some noise for Will Alexander.
Happy to be here for Jimmy and going through this inauguration of his first book. Glorious evening. Glad you could all be here. And I want to say about Jimmy, he listens to lingual ghosts as a poet. He listens to misnomers. You know, Martin Seymour Smith, you may not have known him. He was the British critic who said that the greatest poets get down to mumbling, a la Cesar Vallejo, Aimé Césaire. You know, Jimmy is working towards this climate. Being a poet is an odyssey. It's an invisible odyssey. It's a cantankerous odyssey. But he's here, and we celebrate him for that. So I was going to do one of the poems in the book. He says, "Are we like someone in Sacramento? Today I saw a chrysalis and thought of you, waiting for my algorithm to digitize my own nostalgia. Way I feel invisible in July, Christmas, there is a tree inside a room somewhere in Los Angeles. Have you seen them behind the curtains of the firework sky lawn, behind the tongue-tied solo cup, martini impressions? Sucks being the coolest kid in the room. But when I entered the Fred Meyer for my taxes and a lobotomy, there was something about denial that I refused to chew. Yet everyone watched me, lacing up my surveilled body inside fiberglass container, guilty of everything." One of the people write poetry, but they don't hear. Jimmy hears. And I just wanted to just do a couple of small pieces from one of my newest books called Interior Philosophical Fractals. We're in a state of, one of my colleagues, Avi Loeb, who I've had the chance to have a conversation with when I read at Harvard some time ago, a few months ago, before all this 3-eye atlas was abounding around the universe. One thing I see about Jimmy, he has shadings of getting beyond what my partner, she calls a 4-block radius. We want to get beyond the 4-block radius into the universe. That's where poets should be going. So I'll read a couple pieces here from my brand new book, Interior Philosophical Fractals. Very short. The first one is Curious Incendiary Dawn. Never protracted by errorless example, by vestiges of ruin that propagates its own static, by curious incendiary dawn, that explodes by audit infinity, by spectral ideology, by golden pre-adventure, being stolen yield by carnivorous template, by hierarchical maneuverability that remains pursued by exotic modes of hounding, that persists by pre-existence, that purports by password, by golden pre-adventure, as kinetic mode, as instantaneous optimum, as jade embodies crystallization by instant, by lion's mode, by essence, by crocodilian ire, being branches of being that purports password, by golden pre-adventure. One thing we've been alerted to recently is the expandedness of the cosmos. People come up with these titles, 43 billion light years across, but we don't really know. One astronomer once says, once you get far out there, it's called biogeopoetry. We don't really know where we're at, even though we know the boulevards, but we're in another alignment with ourselves. This is where the poet comes in at. The poet can hear, like the shamanic person, Toveo, who could hear great distances. He was a shaman in Peru that could hear great distances. So that's what I'm interested in, is hearing biotic astronomy. So this is a piece called On Solar Susurration. Perhaps blank mirrorless crystal as sabotage formation, rooted in an epiphanetic possibility of nodes, of rooted stars, of nebular magnetics as never reduced to geomantic number, to dazed beacon, to brutish octane by dazzling, to sudden antipodes within the mode of conscripted spores within a sunbeam, within a sunbeam of constricted circumference that constricts itself by blinding oceanic essence, that perceives itself as being a leaning into worlds poised at the realm of catastrophic brilliance. Here we are leading into this catastrophic brilliance, and I'm thanking Jimmy and the opportunity to be here and to celebrate his work. And I want to thank you for listening to me this evening, and we're going to keep momentum going. I thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Will. One more time, the poet in residence of Beyond Baroque. Published over, I think it's over 50 books, Will. Over 50 books that you've published? Oh, yeah. Yeah, over 50. Oh, only over 50. Only over 50. So I'll read a couple more. This one I wanted to dedicate to Jose, who, like I mentioned at the top, can't be here with us tonight. This one's after Jose Hernandez Diaz. This one is Poem About My Uncle. Someone walks into the neighborhood liquor, mentioning the total collapse of civilization. Saddened, recalling my notes on humanism, I reach for my dusky scratch wrinkle of a gag. I thought I'd seen my uncle one day on my way to work down Venice Boulevard, crowning a dark baseball cap. Sometimes I try holding my grief in the palm of my hands, and sometimes I lose my focus because even sustenance can terrain. In that reverberating glimmer, it was almost as if my uncle was casually providing his salutations to the not yet dead through non-verbal clairvoyance, way a blue jay sparkles its tongue to show you light, way my father caressed my uncle's feet as he was dying. There are moments we call collapse between lines, we say, before a mirror, either static, near black reflective, or other dark brown mustard turf. I wonder when exactly I had realized I was too late for lucid goodbyes, hood, asphalt, quiet sound. I never see my cousins save to bear their suffer. Tonight, I cannot locate the little Zen pocketbook of folk tales and allegories my Aristotelian teacher would read, like the koan about a strawberry by the cliffside. If you listen closely, the humming rarely stutters, an acknowledgement of presence, like when the last time I saw my uncle, he was already memory I could not cling to. Ghetto bird, quiet display of suffering. How lonesome death, even with a nurse by your side. I try telling you I can't be my own witness to the cosmic slow dance. even if the constant surveillance does induce ocular headaches in such a way that privacy is no longer private nor free, in such a way that I ache before afternoon cat naps, in such a way that empire leaves me gasping, living near or living parallel or sleeping next to freeways is socio-political redlining. Don't kid yourself. We're well past savoir-faire by this line. In that haze of momentary flicker, my uncle, with his gaze, concentrating on asphalt, was my very own pareidolia, a stranger under the guise of my father's brother, when he lost to microscopic or otherwise tumors nesting in his brain, smiling. I always forget to mention that poem has a funny word, pareidolia, and I should have mentioned that at the top. But essentially, we experience this phenomenon in nature, or I mean, I kind of see it sometimes in tile or a light socket, and you can kind of see a face. So that's what that's about. This next poem I want to dedicate to the staff of Beyond Baroque. Let's give it up for the staff of Beyond Baroque. They put in a lot of work to make tonight possible. Eric, Yvonne, Genesis, Barbara. We've got Annika. I think we just lost Zoe, but they're all here. Rhiannon working behind the scenes. So thank you, thank you, thank you. This one comes out in a poetry anthology that we sell in the bookstore. It's an anthology of a bunch of poets writing about film. And so this one is titled Room 237. As you were walking in, you probably saw The Shining playing in the background. It's one of my favorite, probably films of all time, but definitely one of my favorite horror films. So it's about this. It's about The Shining. Room 237. The last time I watched The Shining on the big screen, we shared caramel corn, and I lost the car keys inside your coral reef smile. Your eyes like Shelley Duvall's, glossy and silver like wet algae on concrete. You still sniffle when you cry as you pour red rum on ice, and I was all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. All work, no play, Jack. Coastal freeway, cold and catatonic, 65 on the 105, week, night, quiet and starless and ocean. What color were your dashboard lights inside that Yaris? Black North Face windbreakers, maybe in 68 degrees, windless spring nights. Salt of your gray-blue voice, transient ocean breeze on the tip of my tongue. And you didn't flinch when Jack Nicholson and blood appeared on screen. The last time I watched The Shining on the big screen, my voice was blood red, and you whispered, "Darling, light of my life," as I ordered a medium root beer and your retina quivered like dying jellyfish. No one cared about the vanishing ecosystem then. Thanks, folks. Another surprise guest up to the stage. We've worked, a good friend of Beyond Baroque. He's a Venetian, and we developed the haircut a couple years back, and that was a really great event to host in the space, multidisciplinary, interdisciplinary. It was kind of far out, but I want to welcome to the stage Daniel, Tiffany. Please make some noise.
Howdy, everybody. It's really nice to be here on Halloween. I feel like I've been waiting to go to a reading on Halloween. What better thing to do? And also, I just love this. I feel like so many so many readings are kind of longing for a kind of makeshift, put together altar like this, right? And, you know, if you don't have an object to bring up, you bring your poems. And anyway, and I just want to say, you know, a first book for a poet is a really joyous, unforgettable moment. You know, Jimmy, you'll never forget this, your book. You'll have feelings about it that you'll never be able to sort out. But I'm just glad to be here with some really, you know, wonderful other poets and to share this night with you. So congratulations. It's really good to be here. And to be here with the Beyond Broke family, with poets that I've admired and you know, heard and listened to for a long time. So I'm just going to read a couple of poems. And then a beat from one of Jimmy's poems. These are poems from a collection that'll be out in March of mine. It's called Our Prediction. It'll be out from Fordham University Press. Never read these before. I have no idea what they're going to sound like. But anyway, I'll just read a few of them. Yeah, it's nice to be here and Beyond Broke and celebrating this moment with Jimmy. This can't be life. Ants go marching through your heart, signaling the cutoff, and the only way around it can get your name on a list. In the abstract, that's how things work. Seized by the collar, dragged through the streets, pushed through the door. Cakes bake cakes, and that makes cake and cakes polite. A new perlustration of Cahokia. Cahokia is the pre-Columbian civilization in St. Louis, the mound builders. They think it was probably 9th to 11th century. Anyway, a new perlustration of Cahokia, for instance, mouth white, seam sewn, invisible, like heels sewn together, right angle, invisible. We do not wish to say what we think. Same remark for the shoemakers, a militant faction. We see the flowers at our feet, and it's the others we see, not knowing where to go, because no use could be found for any of them but our Father. Fortunately, he died when we were young. He stopped moving and tried to pass himself off as himself, waiting for us to get into position. And it's called No We Do. No, we do not. If it tips toward the unsubsided, it must be cut from the same useless drifting by of things someone's always eager to explain. Day breaks behind a locked door. We have now examined our workbench more closely. Talk of rubbed off experience, because it calls further mutinously, the acoustics favoring the coughing in the boxes over the words of the actor. We manage to think twice about everything. Might it be contained? Unlikely. The haggard school children are sitting behind wooden desks, stamping their feet. And this is called Why Have They Thought? Why have they thought we sold what we bought? A door is not bought twice. Inching lifelong habit to a corner here, shadowless. Same off, try again. What's the question? They might be thought to be well caught, but are we not permitted to ask how they like it, each one not entirely sound or settled by its replacing, all understood only just, almost, never, always the same. We know that. And they know that. Of course they do. Rivers could be sick men going into convulsions in the moonlight. And why are theirs filled with what is until they reach ours? Heads back, front, as on a trestle, or do we mean axle? When we're not better, we are here. For the new protocol everyone is worried about introduces itself by retreating into a maze of hypotheticals and sort of loses its way, dragging its feathered limb at odd angles through the phased-out unrest, this goneness, this Eden turned hex backwards. You know, one of the things I really really liked about Jimmy's book, you know, was the way that his beat and his sense of the streets is really amplified by the imaginary, which I don't, you know, I'd like to hear more about these days, but I hear it in Jimmy's book. And I'm just going to read a piece that, you know, just a segment of a poem, which is a long poem, so I won't read it, but I want to read the beginning of it. And I love the title of it, You Lost All Your LA Privileges. I'd neo-radiate your old address on the pretty tips of my skull, wandering again, cloudy, crashing cyberspaces, trying to exit the playlists etched in your peripherals. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you, Daniel. Let's give it up for Daniel one more time. Thank you so much, Daniel. Up next, I wanted to bring up a poet whose work I've really admired for a very long time, and I think if you know the work that I like, that I really like, you know I love Prageeta Sharma's work. And I got an opportunity to collaborate and invite Prageeta over to Cal Arts when I was there, and ever since then, you've been, you know, so generous, and you know, it's great to keep going back to your collection of books and keep learning and keep reading them. So please, everyone, give a warm welcome to Prageeta Sharma.
It's really a pleasure to celebrate Jimmy's work. This book is so beautiful and so much lyric. It's the lyric moves in it, and the way place works, and the rhythm too. Like Daniel said, that was a beautiful. Everybody's readings have been so beautiful, and it's a joy to be here and to celebrate this book on Halloween and to honor these poems. I'm going to read a few poems, and then I want to read a love poem here that Jimmy wrote, and to think about the lyric. I'm just going to read a few. I'll just start in the beginning here. Irresistible contentment. I am talking my way back to the poem's turn and where it might lie outside my skirted body, a corded place where bluish sky paints my attention and empties itself into a golden silence without talk or sound. Phrases now feel perversely sentient and yet devilishly wrong. Every night I talk with the hope that speech itself will burn me, its one true alphabet. Nevertheless, morning's magic always looks opaque because a stronger feeling replaced the lesser one, and the rightness must reach the poem's hearted center, so that I am led to what might be a plateau of nested changes, something irresistible, those letters of gold, maybe anew. Oh. This is just a couple of lines from the poet Laura Riding Jackson, and it's from a poem called The Telling. And I borrow my title from lines from this, so I'll read you these lines first. The memory we have in us of a time before physical time is the memory of this end, our memory of utter soul being, possessed through the body's witness to what has occurred, is a memory of its ceasing. And the title of this is A Memory of Its Ceasing. I grew up in an old shamble house, now overbuilt, decorative for several decades, but now with a slight gangly tarnish of neglect. It's still full of Hindu and Christian idols and celebrities, Swami Ramakrishna, Sai Baba, and Jesus Christ. The idols still sit with and without purpose as officers, relics, and spiritual registers. I find I am now freely espousing, but also finding these marks of idolatry in poetry. And so this is about coming back to a normalized moment with a steep and yet numbered center, one that does not grouse at bitter states, not in the hot room of hibernated troubles. This is the one when consciousness becomes exciting, or about developing a feeling of benevolence towards a meager process. This is about loving what is ordinary and its sentient one-ment, about loving a slow drain that drowns the enormity with oneself and the localized system of numbering my thumbs. This is about finding all the freighted blankets and figuring out that the itchy pain returns in syntactical tatters. It's about earning a kind of uninhibited hurting and finding that it is not an unfathomable creed without a lesson. It is about the eye that does the choosing of memories for a truer vision, in seeing what might be down the vituperative road and freeing this vision from its shame. What kind of people are down the road for me? Who sees me in kindness? Who do I see back in kindness? I've tried to leave some coldness in the carols behind in search for a new library desk. This is about human consciousness, personality, and the abstract scripture I might try to induce. But there is loss. I'm losing my mother, who taught me that Hinduism has ethics and love and friendship, even when she's been coarse about all of it. I too have been coarse and thus lost meaningless friends, for which only I am weighted down in bouts of sadness. But to free it from the pages, from falsities, how spacious. This is about coming back to oneself. No Ram Dass, no be here now, no Om of sitting in place. This is about sighs and succumbing. And I'm just going to read one more of mine and then... A 1-1, and it's O-N-E and then W-O-N. This book has been inspired by lots of things, but it's also inspired by Barnett Newman's One series. A 1-1. In it I found that the political discourse would love its ethical moon, a wonderment, a one sum, bewitching affinities built upon antinomies, abstract and expression, a wool cap of ornament for the sake of weather. Loving him helplessly anew helped, loving her helplessly anew helped, leaving it all behind helplessly helped. Building around the moribund became a kind of blessing. I left constituents around the number one, and I won, and I felt simple and glad, and finally incandescent, and comfortably large in my honesty, a kind of hanging of the rituals, the clothes, the sense of living in them upright. I felt trouble pinging from my thumb muscles, but ignoring the throb. I looked out and out into a dense and driven fog and said goodbye to its flavor. Goodbye to more than 10 years of saying, will you please love me? I want to birth a kind of abstract expressionism of the merely objective and the racialized lover of things. One mint or ornament, or I won an ornament, or I loved an ornament and the one mint of myself resolved. I resolved, and thus I became into myself a one that I thought would never be allowed. I moved outside of the fog into a place that signified art. So I'm going to just end by just honoring Jimmy's beautiful book and this lovely poem, Moon River, which I just feel immersed in these lines. Moon River. If I clench my jaw tight enough, I can still taste sour slur, broken promises, oh dream maker, muddy wet tears puddled, dashboard molasses. I was your Mary Magdalene sigh, blue loud quiet whisper, clandestine ache in your throat knuckled, city streetlights fractured glare on your black frames, ruptured soliloquies, sorries, illiterate refrains, doubled and double-parked penumbra transgressions. Remember, drunk, crying to Moon River, your shaky fog voice amber bubbled. I can still taste it if I lick my own hippocampus. Your honey brown eyes, blood orange red, your slurred, messy, muddled my name. Called to me in 3 letters. I'm sorry I hurt you then. You said, Jim, you heartbreaker. Then you quickly chuckled.
Thank you, Prageeta. One more time for Prageeta Sharma. One Mint One. We do have a few copies, I think, in the bookstore, and congratulations on that, Prageeta, because that just came out. So please check it out. Next up, we have someone who has been very instrumental in making this book happen. Zirconium Ash does not exist without Karen Kevorkian. So please, let's give it up for Karen, all of her work. Yeah, make some noise. Give it up for Karen. She used to be my professor at UCLA and has grown to be my mentor and my friend. And she edited the book. So thank you, Karen. Thank you tremendously for making it all happen. And thank you to What Books Press in Los Angeles, Gil Ronsky, Chuck Rosenthal, the publishers, the Glass Table Collective. I know we have Ramon Garcia in the house from What Books Press as well. Yes, please give it up for Ramon and Karen as well. And they have been publishing for 10, 15 years now. I think 15 years putting out work. And please check out their work in the press and all the good work that they've published as well. And Yvonne mentioned that the cover is by the Chicano artist named Gronk. And that's one special thing about the books over at What Books Press is that we all get a Gronk as a cover, which is really great. So big thanks to Gronk. And if you take a look back, you'll see a portrait of me. That's from Harry Gamboa Jr. So big thanks to Harry. Both Harry and Gronk at one point were in a collective named Asco. And so it's really fortunate to kind of have their work in the book. But without further ado, please help me make some noise for Karen Kevorkian.
This is so unbelievably pleasant. Jimmy, it was just fun to have him in class, and it was fun. But that was a long time ago, I think, and now we've become better friends because I'm kind of involved with Beyond Baroque, and I've seen him a lot, and I've hung around here a lot, and I'm feel kind of part of it here. Excuse me. So I'm going to read some poems tonight from a new book. It's just I should say a new manuscript. This first poem I'm going to read is it's sort of a proto-feminist poem. It's a rewriting of Eve, and I don't know, it's something I think every poet has to do every so often. You have to take on Genesis, not Genesis Perez, I'm sorry, but yeah. But I don't know why it seemed like a good thing to do, but I felt like I had to do it, so here it is. Eve, a retelling. The darkness called night, and the face of the water, a mist going up from the earth, and along the river a dense embower, pecan trees and elms, an island accumulated from brown leaves. Overhead, the hovering white feathers of large birds spread wings, and small birds singing in the still dark. He told her she was wronging, no matter whether fig or grape, it meant death. How did he know what death was? Pleased, he gave her bone of his bones, her yellowed body, bloodied, key in a secret place. She dreamed of pinned-up pigs, a kind of protest, dreamed of a rat, amused it snuggled just under her chin. Slick topography of a silk quilt beneath which her body hissed red. They were coming. Night's grayscale lay down cubist shadows outside the legions. Hexagons shielding a border's concentric caging, hard abstract figurations of the antlered, almost human. She rose in the dog star, divided earth from heaven, appointed paths of stars, was mistress of the thunderbolt. She ended rainstorms, raised the island from its deep to light. Fate listened, clouds towering in implacable wind, their crazy monuments, lucent in the big trees, doves, percussive summoning. That's it. To return to Los Angeles, I seem to be very engaged by setting. You think? And there's a quote by Clarice Lispector, which I like a lot. I prefer the truth that is in the foreboding. So I think that's sort of my approach to, what's around me. Geometry. Small motors for taming grass mown, the day not so hot. In the times, the columns of the dead are short ones. Dried fronds droop at the tops of palms, brown petticoats to fall on walkers as Santa Annas send their husk flying. The dream with the bride upended, her long white veil trailing. A dance review where Apollo and muses create expertly crafted geometry with their bodies. A friend not seen for a long time, her tanned and lipsticked face amiably removing a slick wig from her bald skull. It makes me so hot. Her mouth's little sounds like water stumbling. Past the windows, green and black snake-like leaves, brush strokes from a phallic era of painting, seismic rustling of crow feathers, gray ficus trunks easy to carve into, names overlay names, coiled roots slashed to fit corridors between sidewalks and curbs. Here in my body, it feels crowded. A recycle truck slithering cataracts of glass. June 4th. Street lights spotting the drunk girl in a ring of officers as they watched her try to walk, one foot in front of the other, stumble, a voice saying, "You did fine." Whether it was kindness, not so much spiritual as a loosening of language, another thing loosened, things not in me, though I'd imagine them, accumulated, compromised. She had not much will, certainly no fight. When they handcuffed her, put her in the patrol car, a slam like an earthquake or the world's largest cat hurling itself at the glass door. Another young woman walking up and down the street, weeping. How had I imagined myself? Not a thing, with feathers. Blade in the air. Sorry. We lived in 2 rooms, bathroom opening into living room. We shared each other's stink. Enough wine, meals seemed fun, little chops on his plate, arranged ossuary bones. Oh, there is still some meat there. Opening the window, no names for gray-mantled black crows, green parrots raucous, tree to tree, 2 dropped down, air collided, bladed feathers. Oh, mother, I dreamed, do you want to eat? Heat of moonlight on pillow, still lying on floor, though maybe not waked by moonlight, but bird hidden in dark pines. Formalities. Hope for no construction sites or freeway wrecks. Hope the corner gas still open. Hope she fell asleep and that I make it home while still light, wanting to be as when visibly her child, not a woman with secrets, helpless she is mine now, in a way she could not ever. Those sheer white curtains that don't take breeze, the stammering chenille, how she studied the small brush that dug the last red from the gold tube. I think the man will leave me now, lying on the bed, talking on the phone. I turn to my daughter, who impatiently is running down a steep trail and then gone. Really, I should have asked about her life, who there was to talk to. The floor carpeted in cats and pellets of shit. I began sweeping, crowds of strangers, expecting to be fed. I'll read one more, and then we'll give it back to Jimmy, because that's what we're here for. In the city I call mine, and this takes place in a cemetery that does not do underground inhumation, but above ground coffining. A cemetery wall of coffins stacked like old card catalogs, rented spaces until no one left, then bones scraped loose, the coffins reused. Names on the city wall of some who died against it, next to the new church honoring the other side. To forget is useful, though you go on feeling. Of course, a beauty in remembering, but time must pass for that. Faces of eroded stone adorn some buildings, their speechless pain mouths open. Almost dawn, a kaleidoscope of car lights recedes and arcs on a still dark bedroom ceiling. Night's demise, then the sanguine sky and gaudy morning. Bridge across brown water. Words scrawled in urgent dark lie by the bed. In daylight, what's illegible seems auspicious. Nothing to hold on to, baby steps. It's cold here. Thank you.
Karen Kevorkian, folks, make some noise. So I'm going to read a few more, and then we can go drink wine and hang out and buy books and purchase memberships for Beyond Baroque and all of that. This one's called 5-Car Collision Playlist, a sonnet about freeways. I ask what you think of when you close your sleep lids, as if drowning in mezcal was the same as tasting mercury, as if drowning in blood was the same shade of your iris when an airbag kissed your face. Angel tells me he still sees shadow shades, brake light red lip stains on the corner of lemon, and muffles silently inside my mother's arms. Trembling on highway pavement, concussion cruise control while the exhaust burns and coral polyps hemorrhage like crimson on porcelain. Gums raw. I cry not for myself, as if a 5-car collision isn't tethered to ocean sleep, as if sunsets weren't persimmon ash, carbon monoxide splotches, as if Monet envisioned ozone depletion, deciding to vomit, calling it art, as if seatbelts held you closer, driving towards a vanishing ecosystem, highway, dark. Wave of mutilation. Night I ceased to resist. I forgot to give my goodbyes. Choke swallowed bathwater till I taste porcelain sky. My father found me, a forgotten poem. Wet, cold, drenched my left cerebral hemisphere, blue, quivery, shy. Underwater, under-influenced. There's too much pain in living. There's too much living in pain. Instead, I lie, water in lungs. I couldn't feel temperature of a room on fire. Hey, what was the last song you heard before I died? Before filling the tub and staining it with marine tears? Before searching for me at the bottom of blue goodbyes? Before you find me in before, I drive my car into the ocean. You call my name in 3 letters. Say goodbye. I said too much, didn't I? On my way out the door, I try leaving my metallic manic depression to get into my steel cage. How many times can I say car in a poem without mentioning the road? Peel out, left jab on Atlantic to daydream on the 710 to the 5. How many poems can I write about roads before I become roadkill, a skid mark on concrete? In my anguish, I quiz myself on the difference between Chronos time and Kairos time, because I'm always late and no one is caressing this anxiety or fingering the postulate of my confessions. Here's the secret. I'll whisper it telepathically. Do you feel it? I can almost taste the snare of my own language. My very own ego death smiling back. Even Hamlet gripped his sheets tightly once to try and make himself disappear. A ghost fragmented memory coffined in periphery ceremonial mask. If you show me your parasitic apathy, I'll show you the zirconium ash in my brain. past sidewalk, concrete, porno, silver, traffic, past forgotten temporal lobe recollections, past elegiac passenger seat confessions, past hypnosis, highway, cruise control, cybersex. This is what folks call lockjaw or bone-tired depression. You can spoil it your damn self if you lick the blue cherry ambulance of my suffering. I kissed my own transorbital lobotomy, night I traded it for twilight sleep. Inside the drunk tank pink centerfolds of my swinishness renunciation, even I moist the categorical imperative before hiding. I keep drowning in my own fragments. I keep stroking my neurasthenia. Even in slate trash streets, I chant the Four Noble Truths. I keep chasing lights and tunnels. It doesn't rain in Los Angeles. My puddled mind wet neon blue. Still lodged in the lavender of my throat. The city. Come, find it. I'm gonna do a couple more, but for this next one, I'm gonna need some help from our very own Genesis Perez. You ready, Jenna? All right. Please welcome Genesis Perez to the podium. Check, check.
Yeah, I think so. I want to be unsubscribed from my digital vertigo of transient escalator rendezvous. When do we realize that our parents are not only the ghost light inside us, but smell after rain? A homeward frontier etched in cracked asphalt. I taste an emptiness that scratches the God in my throat when I remember that I once hurt you. I said I taste an emptiness that scratches the God in my iris. I recall how much I've lost you. Los Angeles only feels this cute with you. New romantic. Hood skyline, pigeon flutter, concrete, where else? Only except to smell the world burning. I want to be unsubscribed from my digital vertigo of transient escalator rendezvous. When do we realize that our parents are not only the ghost light inside us, but smell after rain? A homeward frontier etched in cracked asphalt. I taste an emptiness that scratches the God in my throat when I remember that I once hurt you. I said I taste an emptiness that scratches the God in my iris when I recall how much I've lost you. Los Angeles only feels this cute with you. No romantic. Hood skyline, pigeon flutter concrete, where else? Only except to smell the world burning. I want to be unsubscribed from my digital vertigo. Transient escalator rendezvous. When do we realize that our parents are not only ghost light inside us, but smell after rain? A homeward frontier etched in cracked asphalt. I taste an emptiness that scratches the God in my throat when I remember that I once hurt you. I said I taste an emptiness that scratches the God in my iris when I recall how much I've lost you. Los Angeles only feels this cute with you. New romantic, hood skyline, pigeon flutter, concrete, where else? Only except to smell the world burning. I wanna be unsubscribed from my digital vertigo of transient escalator rendezvous. When do we realize that our parents are not only the ghost light inside us, but smell after rain? A homeward frontier etched in cracked asphalt. I taste an emptiness that scratches the God in my throat when I remember that I once hurt you. I said I taste an emptiness that scratches the God in my iris when I recall how much I've lost you. Los Angeles only feels this cute with you. New romantic, hood skyline, pigeon flutter concrete, where else? Only except to smell the world burning.
Genesis Perez, folks. One more shout out. Well, thank you all for being here, first and foremost. Big shout out to my partner Gladys for dealing with me during the process of this book. And also this week, two more. This one's for Karen, because I remember sitting around your table and saying, you have to read that one at your launch. So here it is. We lose our fleshy bodies, our corporality. Don't we? Look, maybe I should have crashed the car the night I drove back home. 95 on the 105 trafficless weeknight. I turned my headlights just to taste invincibility like invisibility, yawning, reckless, casting sigils during every other exit, or else telepathically swallowing the shrouded fragments. Swallow fluoride, electric city blue, trudging pavement as if I were the only one suffering upon suffering, forgetting my keys at the edge of neuroses, daydreaming, cacti, prickly, and sheen, cascading. Parked, no headlights, sleepy bad breath morning, last night's ash, caught yellow teeth, barefoot, dizzy, tiptoeing on laminated brown red. I finally woke, bit lip twice. The third time, eyes rolled to the back of my Rolodex, half-ass wish, lids half closed, shadow staining simultaneously, surrendering my somatic samsara. Grease up the grooves, shape-shifting with the algorithm, forget to take my meds because they remind me of God inside television. Snakeskin boots near the cavity of my therapist's phone calls, hot shit confessions. I burned humming scent fingertips ember with attitude, or else caressed my zirconium amygdala till I was a little less lonely, because maybe masturbating my pain is praxis. Maybe. The bark in my voice is sunrise in pavement eye. Look, just forget it. So what if I don't remember the last song I listened to before crashing the car, before glass shattering clavicle, before bruised jaw kissing leather, windshield wipers without rain? I vomited morning till daybreak turned pink, forgetting recipe to my favorite hematoma in pitch anyway. This is the last one. Thanks for being here. Freeway Ghosts. 'Cause I'd rather be ghost rummaging LA city, dizzy, lost, and fractal. Remember? Tangled the car again in cul-de-sac candelabra. Crashed my blue voice box on Cesar Chavez Bridge and laughed at myself. Swallowing sunset skies on 6th Street. This is not a poem. This is an exorcism. 'Cause I'd rather be ghost yawning, sleep eyes, heavy driving the 101, scribbled songs in polycarbonate, call it a mixtape, abandon it in asphalt, I'll find you there. I'll be the lamb wrapped in cellophane, hidden under Parataxis icebox. 'Cause I'd rather be ghost-like lodged underneath fingernails. Said I'd swallow 6 streets to replace my own fragmented voice. This is not a poem. This is a reckoning. Can you taste this? Tectonic novelty. Nights I drove in impermanence, headlights in pitch, 710 or else the 105, driving the 91 eastbound, something sad playing on car stereo, shadow play on the highway, pedal pushing 95 past the overpass, radiator howling, cast shadow glistening in freeway light, blurry syncopated images of cars and walls and signs and palmettos coming to me all a posteriori. I swear the city hides in the back of my lungs, even now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Beyond Baroque. Thank you, Team BB. Thank you, Eric. Give it up for our readers. Sesshu Foster, Will Alexander, keep it going, keep it going. Daniel Tiffany, Prageeta Sharma, Karen Kevorkian. Have a good night. I'll see you guys out in the garden.